So like I said, very first thing we're going to talk about is kind of that jumping.
Okay.
And just some kind of basics to kind of go over. So what we're going to kind of do is we'll talk about how to kind of fix just those leash skills, and that will help you with the jumping as well.
Okay.
Usually I start dogs off on a slip lead. The difference between a slip lead and say like a harness or a flat collar is a slip lead has what we call action, which means it has some kind of recourse if you're trying to communicate with your dog. The biggest misconception with things like this is people think it's going to hurt your dog. I promise it's not. I would never suggest anything that's going to hurt a dog.
Okay.
You kind of want to think of it as like a mother is going to scruff their puppy, might carry them around or scruff them if they're being butt heads. This is how we do it as humans.
Okay.
Technically, you could scruff him and get the same result. This just makes it a little bit easier as humans, because it's a little hard if you're not used to scruffing a dog to kind of get used to scruffing them.
Okay.
But I don't want you to think that it's going to damage him at all.
Okay.
It's just a way for you to communicate that he's going to understand.
Okay.
If that makes sense. A lot of the issues that crop up are usually just miscommunication between like the person and the dog.
Okay.
The dog thinks that things are going one way, the person thinks they're going another, and then the person is like, you can't do this. The dog's like, what? But why not? I thought this is how things ran.
Right.
So you just have to change that communication a little bit. So like I said, this has what we call action. It will tighten when you're trying to tell him to do something. But I promise, like I said, it's not going to hurt him.
Okay.
And it's never going to be for long enough where it's going to do any damage. It's just to communicate, hey, something's happening. I'm trying to tell you, you need to change it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The difference with this, though, is this is usually our first step. This might not work. It might not be enough for him to kind of get the idea.
Okay.
Where we go from there is we usually take a step up to like a prong collar.
Okay.
I know prongs have a bad reputation.
Yeah.
They have a bad reputation because people use them improperly, or they get the wrong kind that are dangerous.
Okay.
If I recommend a prong, then I'll tell you what kind to get so you know it's safe.
Okay.
And I'll show you how to use it in here so you know you're using it properly.
Okay.
The issue with prongs a lot of the times is that, like I said, people use them improperly and they just use it to hold your dog back. It's not supposed to hold your dog back. It's supposed to just communicate.
Okay.
So there should never be any pressure unless you're telling them, hey, pay attention.
Okay.
I just let you know that ahead of time because, like I said, they're essentially the exact same tool.
Okay.
The only difference is this has one point of pressure. Sometimes that's not enough, especially for our bigger dogs, to kind of get their attention.
Okay.
So we have to go with more points of pressure, which is why a prong comes in.
Okay.
I trained my own dog on a prong because this was going to do nothing. He's got a lot of muscle. He's a bully mix. We weren't going to get any communication there.
Yeah.
So I moved him up to a prong. Now I can put him on this and we're perfectly fine. But that's because I taught him to listen with a prong. I taught him what that communication meant.
Okay.
And now I can use this and he understands it on this as well.
Okay.
But I couldn't start with this because he just didn't understand yet. So we're going to see how he does on this. And we'll kind of go from there.
Okay. Do you want us to take off his collar and that?
Give me just a second.
Okay.
We can keep his flat on. I'm going to see if he'll even let me put it on. Some dogs get a learning motor. This is also stuff that they'll use at places like daycares or like the vet, good job, or at the groomers. They'll usually use slip leads.
Okay.
So getting him used to it too is just going to be helpful in those scenarios as well. He's actually already listening to it, which is great. You can take that off now. So we might be okay with just the slip lead.
Okay.
Now I will say, if a slip lead works in here, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work elsewhere.
Okay.
So like in a higher drive environment, for example. There's not a whole lot going on, so it's easier for him to pay attention.
Okay.
If you were somewhere where there's more stuff going on and he's having a harder time focusing, this might not be enough.
Okay.
So we'll kind of just see,
Okay.
and we might even take him for a short walk outside just to see if it'll make a huge difference.
Okay.
But I just want to give you that warning ahead of time.
Okay. Yeah.
But we can start with this. So very first thing, like I said, this is just to help your communication. That's all this is for. Very first thing I want to go over is just engagement with you guys. Engagement is just getting him more interested in paying attention to you guys.
Okay.
This can help with like a lot of things later on too, where if you're trying to get him to look at you instead of like say another dog or what have you.
Okay.
Important thing about engagement is him being willing to pay attention. If you're just like, hey, Hank, come here, he's going to be like, okay, well, you're kind of boring and there's more interesting things going on over there. So we want to make us more interesting than whatever else is going on. And the more we practice with us being more exciting than everything else, the more he's going to be like, oh yeah, I remember mom and dad are excited. And the more he'll actually listen. So very first thing is we want to kind of get on our dog's level a little bit and we want movement. If we don't have movement, then we're kind of boring. because I'm not going anywhere. Kind of want to think of it as like you guys are $100 bills stuck under a rock, and there's a $20 bill flying away. He knows that $100 bill isn't going anywhere, so he's like, screw it, I'm going to go get the 20 because then I can come back and still get the 100. So we want that $100 bill also flying away. Because which one are you going to go after? The $100 bill flying away or the 20?
The 100.
Yes. Yeah. So that's why we want that movement in there. We want that $100 bill flying away so that we're more interested in that $100 bill. And then we have that treat just at the end to be like, thank you for paying attention. Here's your extra reward for it.
Okay.
So I'll kind of show you what that'll look like. So if I had the leash and I wanted him, he's already paying attention because I have the treats. Oh, there we go. So if I wanted his attention on me, I'd be like, Hank, good. So I have that movement. I got a little bit lower, so I'm exactly on his level. And then I have that movement so he actually wants to follow me because he's like, oh, where are we going? Super exciting.
Okay.
So it gives, and I also have a little bit of that excitement in my voice. So it just gives him that interest in me where he's like, oh, exciting things are happening. Okay. Where I'm in that moment, I'm more exciting than dad because I'm doing something.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's how we start with getting that engagement. And the more we practice that, the more interested he's going to be in you guys versus everything else in the world. Okay. At first, it might not be perfect, but like I said, it's just about kind of reinforcing that you guys are more exciting than anything else happening. Okay. So we're going to practice that just a little bit, and we can be each other's distractions. So you can be distracted from dad, and we can be distracted from mom. Okay. All right. So whoever he's focused on, I just want... Right now it's me. There we go. Very good. Okay. So you can do it again since he's already looking this way. We'll see if I can do it again. There we go. So try to get his attention. Come here. Movement. There we go. And then that little bit of like that leash pressure, so we're already kind of using it a little bit, is just a way to be like, hey, look at me for a second, and then you keep him going with that movement. Okay. So it can be like kind of a little bit of a like, hey, look at me. And then after that, he's that initial like, hey, pay attention. He's like, oh, okay. So that initial nudge is just to be like, hey, I'm trying to get your attention. Yeah. And then you keep that attention with that excitement. So you see how that kind of initial pressure, and then he's like, oh, dad, yeah, what do you need? And then you keep him coming with that motion. He's already starting to figure out that leash pressure too, because he was a little bit hesitant to come to you because he's like, I know that leash pressure's coming. That's normal. And that's actually kind of good because we're kind of teaching him, hey, who's on the end of the leash is more important. Okay. So mom and dad are just as equally important, but the most important person is who's on the end of the leash. Okay. Makes sense? I know those get a little bit twisted, especially with our exciting dogs. They like to spin. Yeah, so he's already learning. He's like, wait, but I'm not supposed to go away from dad because leash pressure. Okay. So he's kind of already picking it out.
You got one more? Hey, come here. Come on.
Good. Very good. All right. Any questions with engagement?
No. No, that's awesome.
And like I said, it's just about teaching him that like, hey, mom and dad are way more interesting than anything else. Okay. Like I said, it's not going to be perfect. There's going to be instances where things are too exciting. Okay. But like I said, the more you practice that, the more interested he's going to be in you guys. Okay. So that when those exciting things happen, if he's really interested in you guys, he's going to be like, that's exciting. But then you're like, Hank, and he's like, oh yeah, mom, what do you need?
Okay. Yeah.